The You're Gonna Love This or Not podcast contains harsh language and may not be suitable for younger listeners.
Hey, Josh.
Hey.
So, I suppose you're wondering why you're down here tonight?
Is this one of those interventions you guys have been talking about?
Not this time. Not this time.
Yeah, because I totally have my drinking under control.
No, it brought you down here for movie night.
Oh.
You're going to love this movie. I guarantee it.
I doubt it.
Oh, come on. Okay.
You've said that about like 20 movies, and each time I've legitimately hated them.
My movies are terrific. They're the best.
Movies are literally the worst.
I have excellent taste. Everybody I know that's sitting in the seat I'm currently in says.
You have the worst tastes.
So anyhow, tonight's movie you're really gonna like. It's well, I'll just have you guess the movie. It's a Trey Parker and Matt Stone movie.
Is it South Park Bigger, Longer, and Uncut?
No.
Is it?
It's got a lot of original music in it.
Is it the Book of Mormon?
It's not the Book of Mormon.
Is it I Don't Know?
Oh, well, tonight's movie is probably their best musical work. Cannibal, the musical.
Wow.
I guarantee you're going to like it.
This is going to be absolutely terrible.
No, it's going to be great. You're going to love it.
Like, I'm going to want to eat people after this movie.
You might. It's that catchy.
Wow.
These songs are going to be in your head for weeks.
Dude, I don't think I like this so much.
Well, we'll watch it anyway and see what you think after.
I knew I should have come over tonight.
In this episode of You're Gonna Love This or Not, Matt sits Josh down to watch Cannibal the Musical. It's about the sole survivor of an ill-fated mining expedition, telling how his taste for gold was replaced by that of human flesh. I'm going to let you hear a bit of the trailer, and then we're going to see if this was an hour and 35 minutes of pure gold or pure hell for Josh.
In the cold winter of 1874, 6 men set out on a journey through the Colorado Rockies. They were looking for gold, but what they found was that they were completely lost.
I'm Alfred Packer. This is my horse, Leanne.
In the tradition of Friday the 13th, Part 2, and Oklahoma, comes the first intelligent film about cannibalism.
Gross, Packer!
So let's build a snowman, we can make him our best friend. We can name him Shannon Wilson Bell. We can make him tall, or we can make him not so...
I'm shatterproof. There's nothing you can show me. I'm still standing tall, so you all can blow me. I'm shatterproof.
Damn Matt, you son of a bitch.
Oh, come on, man. That movie was spadoinkle.
That movie was the worst.
That was, okay, on the list of movies I have for this podcast, that was one of the best.
I do not envy my future self.
What is it that you hated about it? Seriously.
Besides everything, let's talk about this for a minute. Okay, visual effects, horrible. Acting, horrible. Music numbers, horrible. It didn't even make sense. They were just singing about stupid blue skies and green grass. Really? I mean,
yeah,
you want to sing about the skies are blue?
Okay, there's no
so bad
impression in there. They're making fun of Oklahoma when it comes to stuff like that.
Yeah, but Oklahoma was actually a good musical, so they shouldn't make fun of something that's actually good.
Okay, so you're thinking that because Oklahoma's a good musical, they shouldn't have referenced it.
Correct.
Okay, do you think Friday the 13th is a good movie?
No.
No, and they referenced it. You're not complaining about that.
When did they reference Friday the 13th?
Oh, I don't know. They've got a crazy Ralph in there saying, you're doomed, you're all doomed.
Oh my god. I think we're going to need a bigger couch.
I have to tell you, I absolutely love this movie. It's one of my probably top 15 movies of all time.
Wow.
It really is.
Have you only seen 15 movies in your life?
I've seen a lot more than 15 movies.
Because I feel like in order for this to be top 15, you could have maybe have seen 30 movies in your entire life, and 15 of them were shitty silent films.
I've seen a few more silent films than that, but yeah, I love this movie. I mean, I really do. I think the music is great. I love the stupid jokes. It's just the dumbest jokes there are, but it's the same kind of jokes that were in the first few seasons of South Park.
Look, I actually had a lot of hope for this movie because you guys were like, you're going to really like it. It's by the same guys who did South Park. And I'm like, I like South Park a lot. I've seen every episode of South Park at least 20 times. So I really like South Park. So there's a good chance this movie will actually seem decent. And then it started. And then I kept waiting for it to be good. And then I gave it a couple pity laughs because it was so bad. And I was just like, eh.
This shares so much humor with the first few seasons of South Park.
It does not.
Really
the first few seasons of South Park were actually good.
Oh, I don't know. Let me think. There's a Kyle in this. There's...
Just because there's references, I mean, there's a lot of things that happen that are better than the original.
Like what?
Second Ace Ventura?
The Second Ace Ventura. You're really going there.
Oh, yeah.
You think that's a better movie than this?
Absolutely.
He crawls out of an animatronic rhino's butthole.
That was hilarious.
And you don't think the Humphreys, you're a son of a bitch joke isn't better than that?
No.
You laughed out loud at some points in this movie.
Only because you guys were all laughing hysterically, and I just felt like it was the right thing to do. I was laughing at your laughter. Like, how could this be funny?
Okay, I'll tell you what. Do you think that you are in the majority when it comes to the opinion that this movie is bad?
Absolutely. I bet if we showed this to 100 people, 98 people would say it's terrible. Really? And the only 2 people who like it would be you and the guy currently recording this podcast.
All right, well, let's play a little guessing game here. I'm going to give you a higher or lower. Okay? On Rotten Tomatoes.
Okay.
The critic score.
Okay.
Would you say it's higher or lower than 40%?
I'm going to go with higher because you're trying to trick me.
Because I'm trying to trick you.
Oh, yeah.
You're really going to go with higher than 40%?
Yep. It's probably,
you're saying that
it's probably like a 45%.
You think the audience score is going to be around 2%, and you think the critic score is going to be higher than 40%?
Yeah, but critics are wrong a lot.
Okay, all right. Would you think the critic score is higher than 50%?
It's probably actually somewhere around 62%.
62%.
Now,
well, if we were playing Price is Right rules, you'd be wrong.
Well, what was it?
It sits right at 60% with critics.
Oh my goodness.
Okay, well let's keep going with this. Audience score on Rotten Tomatoes. What do you think this scores?
I don't know.
Let's go higher or lower than 50% again.
Yeah, but Rotten Tomatoes is all based upon people who've actually seen the movie.
Okay.
So people who see this movie probably sought this movie out to see it because it was made by people they like. And so they went in with high expectations, hoping it'd be good. So they're laughing at it or rating it based on the fact they actually like the people who made the movie.
I'm
and
not
so
gonna say
because they
you're
like
wrong.
those styles of movies, and they were probably, if I am correct, stoned while watching this movie. And if they were stoned while watching this movie, they were probably stoned while reviewing this movie. And since that would happen, I would imagine if I was stoned, this movie might actually be something funny. But I wouldn't know because I've never actually smoked pot. But I have a feeling that this is the kind of movie that stoners like.
Well, I also have never smoked pot, and I love this movie, and I know there are other people who love this movie. So let's go higher or lower than 50%. Come on.
Oh, this is so dumb. Let's go probably higher because that's what you think it is.
So you're going to go with higher? Okay,
Yeah.
let's go higher or lower than 60%.
You're giving me numbers that are lower because you want me to say
We're
lower.
playing Joker's Wild here. Would you say it's higher than 63%?
Oh my goodness, I give you the exact number. It's probably exactly at 63% or 62%.
So higher or lower?
Oh my goodness, lower.
Lower? I would say audience score on Rotten Tomatoes for this movie is 80%.
There's no possible.
80%. It's unbelievable. People who watch this movie love this movie.
Or all those people from Colorado, Washington, California, Nevada, Michigan, D.C., or I just name all the places where pot is legalized.
Well, you're forgetting one of the greatest states this world has ever known. Indiana.
Alaska.
Where at least I know that in this room, 100% of the people who like it like it.
But I can say right now that 50% of the people who are in this room do not like it.
You're absolutely true.
And those people rated it 2 stars or less.
2 stars or less.
And actually rated Tokyo Drift higher, which I didn't think was possible. I didn't think that there was a movie in the world that I could be like, you know what, I would rather watch Tokyo Drift than this movie. But I found one.
I've never seen Tokyo Drift, but I would absolutely watch this over that any day.
You don't have.
I love this movie. I love it so much. I have an autographed copy of this movie.
Why?
Because I love it so much. The music is great. It's low budget, so it's all scored on synthesizer.
First off, the music is not great. It's a very poor score. The lyrics are very contrived. The music itself behind it is very simple. It's basic, just little chords that go in little methods, like Nickelback makes their music. So, honestly, it's pretty basic the way it's scored.
I'm not going to say this is a John Williams joint.
It's terrible. I can't even imagine a movie that I could watch that could be worse than this. But I know you, and I know the other guy who's responsible for picking movies, and I know somehow you're going to find a movie for me to watch that's going to be worse than this one. And I am genuinely scared.
Oh no, out of the list I have for this podcast, this might be the best movie in there.
I don't know how that's possible.
And I'm amazed to my core that you don't enjoy this movie.
I can't. It's so bad. I like musicals.
I understand.
I mean, you won't even watch one of the greatest musicals released in the last 5 years. So, I mean, your opinion's kind of invalid.
The greatest musical released in the last 5 years?
One of the greatest musicals released in the last 5
What's
years.
That?
The Greatest Showman.
The Greatest Showman. It's not that I don't want to watch it, it's just that I haven't had the opportunity yet.
How do you not have the opportunity? You have the opportunity to watch this movie.
Oh, I've seen this movie probably 3 times in the last year.
You've watched this movie 3 times in the last year.
I listened to this movie in my car.
You can't take time to watch The Greatest Showman, which is, by all accounts, an amazing musical. I mean, let's look at the Rotten Tomatoes score of The Greatest Showman and see how it scores versus Cannibal.
You want to know what The Greatest Showman's Rotten Tomatoes scores are?
Yeah, let's go with that.
So let's play higher or lower. Do you think The Greatest Showman has a greater critics rating than Cannibal the Musical?
Oh, it almost has to.
Has to. So 60% with critics. You think The Greatest Showman is going to be higher?
Wow!
That's right.
I told you the critics are dumb, but the audience score, way higher. That's because the critics hate Hugh Jackman because of Les Mis. Let's be honest.
The Greatest Showman gets 55% with critics.
That is horrible.
I honestly realize this is because there are many, many, many more critics reviewing The Greatest Showman than the ones reviewing Cannibal the Musical. But still, come on. I mean, this is.
But the audience score is 87%, so which is way better. And I'm
way better. 7%.
I'm gonna go with the fact that the people who were rating this movie were probably less high than the people who were rating Cannibal the Musical.
Probably. I'm not going to argue with you there. That is absolutely true.
I would say 100% of the people.
And I got to tell you, I love this movie, and I am drunk right now.
I don't think there's enough alcohol in the world to make me love this movie.
I think if you'd had a little more to drink, you'd appreciate it.
I don't know. I think I would have to start smoking pot.
Oh, I'm not going to go there.
Or some other type of mind-altering drug.
Oh, well, during the production of the show, there were quite a few times they're on hallucinogens.
I do not doubt it.
I read a book about the making of this movie this week.
So you not only have watched this movie several times, you read a book about the making of this terrible movie. So you have wasted time. Instead of watching The Greatest Showman, you have wasted time to read a book about a movie that is terrible.
I don't apologize for anything.
It's not so much that you don't have the opportunity to watch this movie that you should definitely watch because people love it. It's a great musical. It's more of the fact that you're just trying to avoid it for some reason because you know that I'm right.
I will not ever accept that you're right about this movie. This movie is terrific. The book is called Spadoinkle, The Making of Cannibal the Musical by Jason McHugh.
I feel like I have to be Spadoinkle to watch this movie.
In this movie, who I feel is your doppelganger, your part in this movie, the guy who just doesn't want to be involved in any way. And
you mean the guy who doesn't feel like wandering around the woods lost and then eventually getting murdered? Yeah, I can't imagine being that guy. That would be terrible. Oh, wait. I would love to be that guy because then I wouldn't get murdered.
but he got murdered.
Because he didn't follow his instincts. He just kept following these people around. There's like, oh, this sounds like a good idea. The whole group wants to do it. Which is kind of how I feel right now. Because
You think so?
yeah, I have been. I may have murdered in this basement.
You think you're going to get murdered here in the Subterranean Fun Pit?
Yeah, your version of fun is not my version of fun.
Anyway, this movie gets about a 9 stars out of 10 on my part. What do you
This
give?
movie gets 9 stars out of 100 on my part.
Okay, so a 1.
A 9%.
A 9%. You're going to go with 9,
It's less than
9 out of
1.
100. Okay.
It's 0.9 stars on out of 10.
0.9 stars out of 10. 9/10 of a star.
It's not even your full star.
I don't even want to think about how low you're going to go in the rest of this podcast for these movies.
You know what? If the rest of these movies are so much worse than this movie's ready to may go up based upon that.
I'm not going to say you're going to enjoy the movies on the list less than this, but you're going to enjoy pretty much every
I think it was the build-up to this movie that made it so disappointing, because you guys talked about how great it was going to be. You told me he was going to, like, I think I expected too much because it was a Matt and Trey film. So, like, I figured with Matt and Trey, how bad can it possibly be? Because I love their stuff. But I should have thought it could be bad.
I honestly thought you would enjoy this. I really liked this. I was shocked that you didn't. I thought I'd won you over at the one point that I heard you laughing.
I really wanted to like this movie. I really did. Like, I was hoping, like, there was a few points where it was kind of hokey, and it kind of reminded me a little bit of, like, Blazing Saddles, and there's a little hokiness to it, and I was like, maybe. But then it just evolved.
Well, how dare you hate it? Because Trey Parker flunked out of college for this movie.
Well, if it wasn't for South Park and Book of Mormon, I would say maybe he should rethink that.
Yeah, I think he's doing okay.
Yeah, no, definitely.
And the only reason this movie ever got released was because it got picked up by Troma.
Yeah, because he became successful in other things.
Troma is a studio you probably don't know much about, right?
I have no idea.
Never heard of Lloyd Kaufman?
No.
All right, well, you're going to be acquainted with some more of their work as this podcast goes on. But they are a studio that actually is probably the last bastion of truly independent film in this country right now. It is. They release the best movies. Shakespeare adaptations, Romeo and Juliet, and the upcoming Shitstorm, which is their version of The Tempest, I believe. And, yeah. Good stuff. Like
so is Romeo and Juliet better or worse than Nomeo and Juliet?
Oh, I am going to say I've not seen Nomeo and Juliet. It's really not my kind of thing, even though I have a 4-year-old son. But Romeo and Juliet knocks its socks off. Okay, you're laughing. You like Guardians of the Galaxy?
I do like Guardians.
You do like Guardians of the Galaxy. Directed by James Gunn, who also wrote and directed, I believe, Romeo and Juliet.
I'm getting a note from our producer in the back.
He wrote it. He did not direct it.
Apparently, he wrote it, but did not direct it, which I am inclined to believe our producer in the back. I don't know if I can mention his name or not. So.
Yes.
So Mike's our producer. We like him because he's going to be the one that's going to make us sound like we're halfway intelligent.
No, that's Tony.
No, sorry, that's Tony. That'd be Tony Troxel, the famous Indiana Geeking. So
there's no human that's going to make us sound intelligent.
I think if anybody can, though, it's going to be Tony. And we got to give a shout out to Tony and Mike because they're helping us out here. They're sitting down here and they're watching the movies with us. So they're subjecting themselves to the horror that is this. Although Mike also likes this movie, and Tony, who's on my side here, also dislikes this movie. Dislikes it. We're going to go with dislikes this movie because Tony has good taste.
Don't throw me under this bus.
Oh, no. Already there. Under the bus with me.
All right. Well, you didn't like this movie. You probably won't like the next movie. But we're going to keep it a
So
secret.
isn't that kind of the point of this podcast?
Yeah.
Finding things that I'll hate?
Exactly. Except I don't think we're going to try and dig up things that you'll hate, because you hate everything.
I do not. You've shown me a couple movies I like.
All right. So
you've shown me The Hunt for the Wilder People, which I really enjoyed.
Okay.
And you showed me What We Did in the Shadows, which I really enjoyed.
Yeah,
there's
I have
two.
to say, I really enjoy those type of movies, the critically lauded, fan-approved movies. But I also like the other movies. And unfortunately for you, those critically lauded movies are not going to be any of the ones that we watch for this podcast.
I think eventually we should have to watch a good movie.
You think so?
Yeah.
Well, we'll see if we get to
Like, maybe if we could, like, several episodes in. See, I think the goal of this podcast should be for you to find a movie that is, by all accounts, terrible, but that I actually enjoy.
All right. Well, I really, really thought you'd enjoy this one, but that's not the case.
No, you swing and a miss, sir. Struck out.
Well, next time we have a movie night, I'll try and find one that you'll like.
All right. Well, I look forward to it because I really do want to find good bad movies because I actually like good bad movies. I mean, there are movies that I like that are not exactly critically acclaimed.
All right. Well, I'll try and find something that you haven't seen that you, by all accounts, should hate, and I will get you to love this movie.
All right.
All right. Well, I guess we'll leave until next time.
Yeah. Till then, still son of a bitch.
This episode of You're Gonna Love This or Not was recorded at the SFP Studios, located off of beautiful Eagle Creek Reservoir in Indianapolis, Indiana. It features Matt dragging Josh down into the dark depths of his movie collection and is released monthly on the Team Geeking family of podcasts. It is produced by Mike Wycliffe, edited by Tony Troxel, and features music by Scott Holmes, who can be found on the Free Music Archive. Make sure you subscribe on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Stitcher, or the podcatcher of your choice, and please leave us a rating and review. Thank you for listening, and we'll see you next time.